frame wawili kwetu tu short all through. Weka kwa tripod vizuri kwa steady, then give us a two shot.
Between Kenya and Singapore, something on the exchange rate here. Remember the dollar rate to the shilling rate to the dollar in 60s and now. Singapore, the dollar was 7 shillings. Dollar 20 pound. Singapore was I think was maintained to about it was I think 0.78 Singapore dollar to the US dollar. The US dollar. Yes.
Sasa ukirudi sasa hakutakuwa na any problem. Mwasi wanaweza pita tukafungua hizo pashara alafu na madirisha kama inaweza kuwa wapi kidogo. Ndio walifunga. Walifunga enda kufunga. Wacha wafungue huko. It's hot. Kidogo tupate. Then you pull, it's a sliding window. So pull the curtains. Yeah. Then slide. Yeah, slide hiyo. Yeah. Yes. Open kabisa. So maybe to achieve slide. Ipatie hiyo. Slide there. Alafu ufungue kidogo bashia so that tupate. Kuna short yenye natafuta hapo. So make sure flow. That okay kwa hapa. Hii pasha yani tunataka at least nje pia ionekaneko. Dirisha umefungua kabisa. Fungua kabisa. Alafu hii pasha isongeshe upande wa chini huku tena. Hivyo. Alafu ya hapa pia itengeneze kidogo. Pate afungua hii dirisha ya hivyo. Bas. Yeah, okay. Masi, you are ready? Walkie-talkie. Nirudia alafu urudishe na kusikia. Basi. Sasa tunaenda rapid fire vizuri. Hata hapa itakuwa mzuri. Be steady and calm, sababu tunataka kuingia kwa section ya muhimu zaidi kushinda hizo za kwanza. Hapo tuko kwa sana.
Is it on?
It's on.
Okay.
Tuko ready. Okay, 20 seconds. Naam, watazamaji, basi tumepata kurejea tena na nashukuru sana nyinyi watazamaji, manake nyinyi ndio bosses wetu. Wakati mnasema kitu kwamba hapa hatujapata vizuri kidogo, tumefanya marekebisho tena na sasa walai tuko sawa kabisa. Nashukuru kwa sababu tuko vizuri zaidi, na bila shaka nao eneo ambalo tunaelekea sasa, tungependa sana profesa sasa apate kutupatia mapoints kwa mpigo, manake mitambo imekuwa sawa kabisa. Na bila shaka profesa, tunazidi kukushukuru kwa kuweza kutukaribisha hapa, na sehemu ya kwanza na ya pili umeweza kujibu maswali vizuri sana. Kwa hivyo kuna swali la mwisho ambalo linatoka kwake ndugu Talam Emmanuel. Anasema kwamba mataifa kama South Korea vile vile yalipata kukopa ama yalipata kuiga ule mfano wa Singapore, discipline na vile vile financial independence ya wananchi ambao umeongelea hapo mbeleni. Katika taifa la Kenya tumechukua swala zima la transformation bila kufanya ile enforcement ya accountability mechanisms that make Asian states to succeed. Unapata kwamba katika taifa la Kenya kila kitu ni siasa. Bila ambavyo umesema, kila kitu lazima siasa ipate kuonekana hapo. Wakati ambapo president anapoitisha structural bond, bila shaka unaona wengine wanasema hiyo infrastructural bond ambayo ameitisha, wanasema kwamba hapana, huu ni ubadhirifu mwingine. This is another scandal. Unaona, tukimalizia swala zima la Singapore kutukilinganisha na maendeleo ambayo Kenya inataka kupata, je, tutahitaji maybe a constitutional amendment to adopt this, ama mazungumzo tu peke yake ya viongozi yataweza kusaidia?
Vile nimeongea hapo awali Bwana Wanyonyi, na ukizingatia mambo ambayo ulitaja kuhusu Rwanda, na sasa umetaja Korea Kusini, mabadiliko ya kiuchumi yanategemea mabadiliko ya kisiasa pia. Kwa hivyo binaoana. Sasa ukiangalia sasa katika mfumo tulionao wa kikatiba, haumpatie rais nguvu ya kutosha ya kuweza kutekeleza mambo yake. Kuna wale wanaitisha mabadiliko ya katiba ili kuweza kuwa na kuleta ofisi fulani katika katiba siweze kukubalika. Mabadiliko ambayo mimi nafikiria si ya kuleta ofisi mpya katika siasa. Hata tunaweza kukata ofisi zingine. Mabadiliko ambayo tunahitaji ni mabadiliko ya kuleta vipengee katika katiba ambavyo vinaweza kutengeneza barabara ya kufanya maendeleo bila kuingiliwa na athari za kisiasa. So we are looking for a constitutional framework that can promote growth and development, not a constitutional framework that creates jobs and new posts for people.
Na ndio hivyo wananchi
wanafikiria. So we need a conversation with the entire republic and say we must ask the following questions. Because uliniambia niende kwa mkato hapo. Is the power we have given the judiciary promoting national development, is it going to get us to Singapore? Is the power we have given the executive enough to allow the executive to direct the development of this country? Is the power we have given parliament enough or deficient? Are there enough checks and balances in the constitution which can promote good governance? So if Kenyans are satisfied that this constitutional framework, the way it is good for us, then we are just individuals. We go by that. But I think we need to ask, what is keeping us, what is holding us back? Sometimes the president says, what holds us back is we think average. But I also think, to my boss, I would add that what also holds us up is a bad legal and constitutional framework, which delays our capacity to realize our potential. Today, President Ruto's biggest challenge is not going to be even the people who are criticizing him, but the constitutional limitations, the legal limitations. People can delay you through these legal limitations for many years, and you realize nothing. And some people, in their warped thinking, some people think that if they delay President Ruto, then it will reach 2027, they take power, they take Kenya back to where it was in 2022. I tell them, shame on them. Usually Ruto is going nowhere. He will win the election. So don't invest in that you can delay him so that he doesn't achieve it. I think what we need is a constitutional discussion. What do we think this constitution is serving us to promote, change Kenya into a first world country? Or do we have it in the constitution? If we don't have it, what else can we do? This is a big question. And I think in the new year, this should be swala nyeti. Kwamba katiba tulionayo imetusaidia kwa wingi sana, unajua imetusaidia sana. Lakini upungufu gani ulioko katika hii katiba yetu ambao unazuia daraja mbalimbali za serikali kama bunge, kama ofisi kuu ya rais, kama judiciary kuweza kutekeleza lengo letu la kuboresha maisha ya wananchi. Kwa sababu ambayo inanifanya niseme hivyo, Robert, ni kwamba dola kama Kenya ni dola changa. Na dola changa hii inahitaji tufanye kazi kwa njia fulani. Sasa kama wewe unapatia watu mbolea ambayo iko subsidized, mtu anakuambia kwamba usiwapatie, is that for our own good? Ukijenga barabara unazuiwa, is that for our own good?
Na mtu hana sababu.
Hana sababu, anakuambia vitu ambavyo hata havina, yani tuache barabara. Ukitaka kurekebisha watu wameiba pesa za NSS, NHIF, ukijaribu kutengeneza wanakuambia wacha.
Na anaenda kotini na koti inampatia order kubaki kwa ofisi.
So the framers of our constitution today envisage that the constitution will be used as an instrument to block the progress of Kenya. If that's the case, then we must fix it as a nation. So my thinking is that the time has come for us to have that conversation. Sasa ukiangalia nchi kama Korea, Singapore, the constitution framework, the legal framework that obtained in both Korea and Singapore was not a hindrance to national development. For us, kila mtu anataka usiendelee, anakimbia mahakamani to delay you. If today you probably wanted to get a passport to travel to Australia with your child, Robert, somebody can rush you and say, Robert is supposed to be bankrupt, so that you do not do anything.
Kabla ya kuendelea, Profesa, Janet Malicia hapa katika Facebook page ya Tandao TV Kenya anasema job well done kiongozi, we fully support our president's agenda. Swali ambalo ningependa kuuliza, unaona kwamba mahakama za Kenya zinatumia mbinu gani hii ya kupeana everywhere? Unaona kwamba orders kutoka katika taifa la Kenya ni rahisi sana. Ni swali ambalo tutasema ni katiba ya 2010 constitution, was it very weak, ama are the courts using some loopholes there ambazo labda zinatakana kufunikana kutokana na ile constitutional talk ambayo unasema lazima ifanyike ni 2026?
You see, in the constitution, Robert, all of us are supposed under Article 4 to protect the 3, I think we are supposed to custodians of this constitution. We protect the constitution. We defend the constitution. So the judicial power, they have been given certain powers under the chapter on judiciary. One of them is also to defend the constitution and interpret the constitution for us. So I go back to where I left you. I told you that what we really need to do, the judiciary may be exercising certain powers within the constitutional framework. Time has come for us in Kenya to start asking, is this power they are exercising in the constitution or it's outside the constitution? Or did the constitutional framers, you know, we came from a background of hostility, a background of suffering, people being detained without trial. So the anger that the people had in 2010 was to fight anything that comes from government. And you can understand the anger. But that anger should come to an end. And we ask, question number 1, what is it? How much power can we give the judiciary? And is the power of the judiciary as currently constituted and good for the country or not?
Or is it too much?
So we don't have to blame the judiciary. What has the judiciary been given by the constitution, and is it going to serve us? What has been given to parliament? Can it serve us? What other power does parliament need apart from what has been given, or what should be subtracted? What should also be subtracted from the judiciary, and when you subtract it, where do you take it? What other power should we give the executive? And so, are they still enjoying too much power or less power? What power can we give them so that they can be the engine of development? These are the questions we need to ask. And I'm telling you, Robert, it's not Kisiang'Ani. But I think some of the frustration the president gets is because of the imbalanced nature of power distribution across the 3 arms of government. And that is the challenge we are having. So you have seen at times the county governments doing certain things which conflict with the national government. And so there is a committee that an intergovernmental setup which helps to deal with disputes. But in terms of accountability, you have seen at times we have had people trying to impeach others, especially governors. The way the setup is, in my opinion, it is going to be very difficult for a governor in Kenya to be impeached. You can succeed 1 or 2, but it is very tough. But because of the trajectory that you have to go through is very complicated. So in terms of accountability, when you make the legal process have so many loopholes where people can escape crime, it becomes very difficult to even account for lost resources. You can take 10 years before you even break even. So I think that time has come for us to have a national conversation whether this constitutional setup that we have is giving the branches of government enough balanced power to check each other, but also support the national agenda of transforming Kenya into a first world country. That is the biggest challenge.
Bila shaka Prof, umeongea kitu ambacho tayari unaona boss. Unaona boss. Kuna
my boss.
Kuna swali ambayo ameuliza hapa na ndio hili. kuhusu swala ambalo umekuwa unaongelea tu pale. Asante Profesa, amegusia masuala mazuri sana ya kupeleka Kenya katika kiwango cha mataifa yaliyoendelea kama South Korea na Singapore. Halafu swali ambalo ningependa kuuliza, labda upate kumuuliza, nasema hivi, the current devolved units in Kenya, how much ready are they to ensure that maybe they also swim up to the president's idea of a Kenyan Singapore development agenda? Yani hizi kaunti zetu hizi, ukiangalia hizi serikali zetu za gatuzi, anauliza kwamba ukiziangalia nyingi ambazo vile ambavyo zinafanya kazi yake na vile ambavyo nyingi sometimes zina matatizo sana katika kupeleka hata bajeti, unapata kwamba zingine pesa zimepata kurejeshwa kwa umma. Kuna counties ambazo recently were captured under they put zero monies on development. Na ni county najiita ni county government. So in that scenario, the boss is asking, how much ready are we to use our developed units as the first center of pushing Kenya towards the Singapore status?
I think I stand for devolution. I support devolution. And my boss, President Ruto, also supports devolution. But I think the structure of that devolution has to be revisited. The way I've been asking, we need to revisit the legal setup of the devolved units.
Yes.
I think we must ask this fundamental question. What factors should inform devolution? Is it population? Is it capacity to make their own money?
Instead of relying
on the national government. Yes. And that also goes into asking who should be a governor. There are many presidents today. When they come in to become governors, do they declare a strategy to raise their own money? The problem that we have today is that every devolved government, when they have financial problems, they blame the central government. But when now the central government gives them money, they do not want to be
they don't put on any development. You talk about salaries, arrears, and all that, paying contractors, and
So they will say we have not paid salaries. Like now, we are talking. By July, the national government had already released all the money that was required for the counties.
But they were still complaining.
Yes, and there is even no acknowledgement. But when you see them quiet, they have received the money. But when the central government now asks you, how much money, the control of budget asks, so how much money have you spent and what did you spend on? We feel that's interference. So we must have a proper definition of the relationship. I think that area of the relationship between the devolved units and the national government needs to be revisited so that we understand what role can we play. You can't take money from the national government to develop the units and you don't have a say on how that money is being spent. When you ask that question of how do you spend this money, you are told you are interfering. But when you give them money, they say that's their right. So a way must be found, even at the county level itself. What sort of accountability are we looking for? Let me tell you, and this is, I'm not being arrogant on this. Most governors that you have in this country they have very good academic qualifications. And some of them are experts in financial management. You get the point? We need to revisit the question of oversight. Who should oversight them? They should be oversighted by people who have similar qualifications. So that when you talk about credits, you talk about the balance of payments. This language, everybody understands.
Why do you think that issue about qualifications was relaxed so much, in that we are now getting even standard 7 dropouts joining county assemblies, and then they want to oversight the governors who are having a requirement of a degree?
Maybe the people who really crafted this didn't want accountability. the president is being oversighted by the National Assembly. The National Assembly has very many distinguished people. It has professors, doctors,
lawyers.
So they go to oversight the president. The president addresses the nation, the national, the state of the nation address.
Yes.
And he's facing people who have PhDs like him. And they poke holes in his speech, they ask him questions, some of them go to the media to say certain things. So you argue with some equals. But I don't think that the county assemblies have capacity to oversight these governors. So therefore, the way I've already suggested, like I've suggested that we need to do a conversation about the distribution of power, the relationship with national government and the county government needs to be revisited, and we see who should do the oversight. Some counties receive a lot of money, depending on their population, but they receive this money, and national government is powerless. Sometimes it can't do much. Then the question is, so does the national government just become a conduit for delivering money to the counties without saying anything? These are small questions, but they are big in a sense. We need to revisit that gray area in the national conversation. I'm talking about the conversation to get to know a proper relationship. What should the national government do? And then what should the county government? Is there any other power we can add to the county governments? So which can make them more viable? Some of the resources that you're seeing around,
or maybe even remove.
They're already removed. Yeah. But some of the in counties, many counties now you are discovering some of them have very many natural resources. If you look at what our president did the other day, Masai, he I mean in Kajiado, he surrendered. The national government surrendered the rights of controlling a whole national park to the county government. That shows how positive the president is. But the question is, do they have capacity to manage those resources? And if they are managing those resources, do they have the capacity to oversight? These questions, and if they don't have capacity, can the national government be allowed to help them to do the oversight?
Wananchi wanauliza hapa maneno. Acha tufike pale alafu turejee tena Profesa. Jacob Shivakale Levi, Malaba Kabras, Kakamega County, following up now. Salimia mgeni wetu Profesa Bwana Robert pamoja hadi tamati. Asante sana. Collins Wanyonyi Jr. getting you live from Nairobi. Show ni fire si fire. Alafu anasema, Professor, do you agree with constitutional amendment? Alafu hiyo ni swali. Abraham Wekesa anasema, if they insist on amending the constitution, then let them do away with some counties, reduce the numbers and frame them to a management way, then reduce corruption ways. Alafu Jose Simia anasema, mtoto wa baba na wapenda sana nyinyi wote. Wekesa anauliza hapa, the corruption ways will kill the dream before it reaches out. In fact, there is no trust in this regime. Mambo ya ufisadi, wanasema serikali haiaminiki.
So, where has the government failed? Because I will ask this question.
Ndio.
According to some of our people, and this must be very clear, they want President Ruto to wake up one morning and say, Robert Wanyonyi and so on, you go in, I'm jailing you, put you to jail
because I've heard
you are corrupt. So the work of the president will be to arrest people and have them detained. Now, the constitutional framework said no, the president doesn't have that power. They are independent commissions and independent officers. And one of those is the EACC. So, why would you blame government for the job which is supposed to be done by a commission you put in the constitution? When you are voting for this constitution to be implemented, you knew that the work of corruption, in fact, the reason why EACC was created was they thought that the president and his executive cannot fight corruption. So in the wisdom of the Kenyan people, they say you do it through a commission. Now, if they are the ones who voted for this constitution and gave power to the commission, I ask my brothers there, do you want us to return that power to President Ruto? Because if you return it to constitution, and he will do it very fast, and he will deal with some of these people who have been causing problems. But now, that needs a constitution amendment. That's why I'm asking, the institutions we created under the Katiba 2010, are they serving us? You can't blame President Ruto for corruption when you took away the main power of dealing with corrupt officers and gave it to a commission, which you pay for, you voted for. So the only thing that the president can do if he hears that, Robert, you are corrupt, is to refer you to ESCC to investigate, as any other Kenyan. But he cannot come and pick you, take you somewhere, interrogate you. That power is with an independent office. The people of Kenya, now that they are asking, first of all, I will tell them, it's good they are talking about this matter. Let them read the constitution. They endorsed a constitution that gave power to fight corruption to a commission, which they maintained through their taxes. We need a constitutional discussion. The moment I'm discussing whether that power should be retained by ESCC or it should be returned to the executive office.
Sasa profesa, ni kama unaleta wasiwasi mahali. Manake Wakenya wanataka kujua hii constitutional amendment yenye inaongelewa iliongelewa na katibu mkuu wa baraza la mawaziri Kilifu Musalia Mudavadi, imeongelewa na wewe hapa, na umesema kwamba independent bodies zilipatiwa powers ambazo zingekuwa za president in the 2010 constitution. Does it mean that we go to this new constitutional framework ya 2026 kama tutakuwa na referendum? Is that referendum going to take away the constitutional bodies again and return the power to the president?
Don't take me wrong.
Yes.
I'm not talking about what the Honorable Musalia is talking about.
Yes.
I'm talking about a conversation, a national conversation, whether this constitution is serving us well. I'm not talking about a referendum.
So, but
I'm just saying we need to ask ourselves. If you had the prime cabinet, he had specific things, and some people are saying probably we need to put certain positions which are not in the constitution to be embraced in the constitution, and therefore we rush for referendum. The process for referendum is a long one. Under Article 255 to 56, there is one by popular will, there is one by parliamentary process. You know that. It's not a joke. So I'm not saying we go to a referendum in darkness.
What if the talk is so sweet to the level that now Kenyans say, okay, let's have a referendum. So
a referendum on what? The conversation I'm talking about is a conversation which can help frame the referendum question. And we have not reached there. We ask, is this constitution serving us well to improve the quality of life for Kenyans?
15 years after.
Yes. And we go specifically to areas like corruption. Has the work of ESCC supported the fight against corruption as an independent office created by the people of Kenya? Is Parliament doing well under the current powers it has under the Constitution to promote development? Is the executive doing well? Is the judiciary doing well? Once you assess the entire platform of our Constitution, then you say, where you think things are wrong, under Article 255, you check whether there are things that can go to a referendum or can be changed by the parliamentary process, which is 256. So, the things that touch on territory of Kenya, on term of office of the president, for example, on the structure of government, under Article 255, must be taken through referendum. People who are talking about referendum should understand whether the issues they are raising can pass as cardinal issues under Article 255 to go into a referendum, which is by popular website. So what I'm asking you, I'm not telling you that we go for referendum for 2027. I'm not in that camp. I'm asking that we are talking about Korea. And you must understand that we talked about Malaysia. We are zeroing in on Singapore. We are saying that the country we call Singapore was worse off almost than us in the 60s, but it is now better off several miles away. So we are saying, what is hindering us? That's where I brought in the question of governance and the constitution and said that some of the frustrations government gets into, including the president, is the constitutional framework that denies him powers to take certain decisions. So I'm saying, if we stick with that, then we check. Once the executive does this, the judiciary does this, parliament does this, does this constitution have the correct lubrication that can make the three branches of government promote national development and national agenda or not? If it doesn't have, how do we fix it? And if we now say we want to fix it, is what we are fixing under Article 255 a cardinal issue which should go to referendum, or it can be changed through parliament under 256. That is the framework. So there is no referendum question. If someone asks us, tells you we want to go for a referendum in 2027, what is the referendum question? And who frames the question? The people of Kenya must frame. So there has to be necessity, and as we discuss the legal provisions of this constitution, that's when we say, is there a necessity for a referendum? And this conversation should begin in the villages. It should begin everywhere, to see whether this constitution is serving as well. If it does, if people of Kenya say there is no issue, we continue with what they have, because what the people of Kenya think is bigger than what an individual thinks. And so that is my point. So I'm not talking about a referendum. I'm not calling for a referendum. I'm talking about a national conversation to understand whether this constitutional arrangement we have had since 2010 has served as well, and going forward towards Kenya becoming a first world country, whether the same framework can deliver us to Singapore.
Tom Ngoya kwa Facebook page yetu. Na mtazamaji, ukiwa na swali, labda ungependa kuuliza profesa swali, hatujaweka nambari ya simu kwenye screen pale, lakini unaweza ingia katika ukurasa wa Facebook wa Tandao TV Kenya. Tuko live hapo Tandao TV Kenya, andika tu kwa Facebook Tandao TV Kenya, ingia hapo utatuona tuko live naye Profesa Edward Kisiang'Ani hapa. Alafu andika swali lako hapa ama suggestion, na bila shaka nitakuwa naiona moja kwa moja. Tom Ngoya anasema, hello senior, which and how will Kenya meet the Singapore country, and yet we are the most corrupt? What is hidden agenda about comparing Kenya and Singapore to look alike? Engineer Tom Ngoya, plumber from Misihu. Abraham Mwekesa anarudi hapa na kusema, talk of EACC recently, it has been only going towards those opposing the government. Look at the ways of Honorable Waluke with the scandal of maize. Talk of Honorable Sakaja with the Nairobi County management. It looks like when you are corrupt and praise the government, then you are free to go. But when it comes the other way around, then you will be followed by EACC, just like Honorable Baba Yao. The president may not have that power, but he's the leader of the country, and he has the power to address the issue of corruption and push those in charge to do their job. Alafu anasema Collins Wanyonyi, another thing, why is it that when the president tours in any part of this country, he has to promise things that he knows very well is not on the budget? Two, why are they focusing on constitutional amendment, yet they have appointed people holding positions out of the constitution? For example, Musalia Mudavadi himself holding a position that is not on the constitution. 3, can he agree with us that President Ruto is not using the constitution to run this government? Maswali kama ine hivi.
You see what is that? I don't know why people have this kind of anger. Because some things are about this information.
Yes.
You know, when you look at the Constitution, Article 232, you know that the president, in consultation with the Public Service Commission, can create positions. So there is no illegal position to run this government. So the Prime Cabinet Secretary is just a senior cabinet secretary among colleagues. and he helps the president to run certain things. So the president has not created anything illegal, and which is not in the constitution. He's a minister. He's not a prime minister.
He's a prime cabinet
secretary.
So,
So to create such a kind of position, it's through the executive, what the president can constitute government, where it's a new position called prime cabinet, but which is the bigger minister among equals. Then he consults with the Public Service Commission, which was approved. So that's what the constitution says. So these people might be operating from some lack of information. The second thing is this. They are saying corruption. Corruption is a problem. I think whether people have been acquitted by EACC, keep the president out of this. The president keep him out of it. He does not direct EACC. Let me tell you, I'm the president's senior advisor. The president doesn't direct EACC. In fact, the day the president will start, if he ever tries to interfere with the EACC, you will hear it in the media. Na hata ninyi watu wa media ndio mtasema, mtu atawapigia simu. So,
hata huyo mtazamaji,
yes.
I think ningependa pia mshauri swala kama la kusema watu wakisifia basi kesi zinaondolewa. Maana kesi kama ziko mbele, hao watu zitafuata mahakama.
Yes.
Na sio vizuri kusema kwamba labda waheshimiwa fulani wataanza kusifu na ni vitu kama hizo kutaja. Bila shaka mtazamaji, sio vyema, manake swala likiwa mbele ya mahakama liache likue. Mimi nimelisoma tu hapa ghafla, lakini sio vizuri kutaja masuala ambayo yako mbele ya mahakama, manake unaweza chukuliwa kama unataka ku-influence.
Yes, and the president does not deal with that. Because once things go to EACC, it's EACC to communicate and forward files. So if there is no case in the investigation, what do? You can't ask the president to go and force a conviction. So some of the things that the president is accused of, the people must now ask EACC. Go to EACC. In fact, our brothers who have asked this question, go and find out why some people have been acquitted. Don't read newspapers. Don't read Facebook. Don't read Tuko Kenya, and then you say he was acquitted because he was politically correct. Go and find out the facts of the case. You know, our people need to get this information. I think I would recommend this. Next time, I think I would recommend this, Robert. Our own EACC, as a way of helping EACC, every acquittal they make and say there's no evidence should have a comprehensive statement given to the people. Because I know they have that information, so that the people don't guess. I think maybe the communication there can improve, where they can pass information that so and so was accused of this, but we have not found any evidence. This is what was presented, and it cannot stand the test of what? The court process. That is the kind of thing that I'm thinking about. But the corruption doesn't occur at government level alone. Some of the people who accuse you of corruption, even in their own area where they are, some of them have driven 4 vehicles hapa mkoa wa Magharibi, wameendesha gari mbaya, alafu akifika kwa polisi, hata polisi hajauliza na anatoa pesa kumpatia. Some of them have done that.
Takes two to tango.
Yeah, so what is their role in this corruption? Do you think corruption is occurring at government level? What about individuals? I want them, like the Bible says, maybe the first one to throw the stone. Many of the things people accuse the president of and his government are not in his domain. They are institutions. And what he has done, and you can commend this president for doing that, he has made sure that financially these institutions are strong. EACC has financial support from Parliament. The president has supported that. Police, DCI, we have their money. The president is too busy running national affairs that he cannot be following an individual like you, Robert, if the DCI are looking for you. But people think that the president does everything. If the president does everything, then there will be no institutions. Principals of high schools are running their own schools. If some corruption occurs in a school, do you blame the president? You can't blame the president. People must take responsibility. So we have been used to think that the president does everything. The Constitution 2010 tried to dissuade you from thinking like that now institutions should work. But instead of people now holding to account the institutions they put in place in the 2020 Constitution, they go back to the old thinking that it is the president. So some of the things they accuse the president of, he's not the one to blame. Please go and ask ESCC, the independent commissions, if there is a problem, and see what they tell you, which facts they have. Then come and prove to us that what they are doing is being supported by the president. Then we shall respect you. But if you just say, so and so was acquitted, the court process has gone through, and they have found no evidence, and then you blame it on the president. Don't be unfair. Yes.
Naam, bila shaka watazamaji ambao mnauliza maswali kuhusu swala zima la katiba kupata kuongelewa in 2026 ni kwamba profesa amepata kujibu vizuri sana.
But also as I say, unawaambia wajibu vizuri, let them not record that I've called for a referendum. I'm just saying, let us do an assessment of what the constitution.
Mbona Mheshimiwa Musalia Mudavadi akasema kwamba huenda referendum itaambatanishwa na uchaguzi ambao unakuja.
He's a Kenyan, he is independent.
Ilikuwa maoni yake?
Ask him. You don't ask him to answer for the prime cabinet. He's a distinguished leader. You ask him what he meant.
So msimamo wa serikali sio huo.
Apana, you know what? He talked, ask him. I'm not talking about Mr. I've just told you, we are discussing how Singapore has reached where it is. And I'm telling you, in my opinion, this one I'm not talking about the opinion of government. It's an opinion that we have serious constitutional constraints which require addressing, and we need to talk about them now. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And once we talk about these constitutional constraints, and we think that they are not big enough to make us change the constitution, we leave it.
Yeah, sure.
But I'm not focusing on 2027. If you look at my boss, the president, we never discussed with him 2027.
Because you have put it very well, you have said that unlike other leaders who are just talking about maybe transiting Kenya into a referendum, but you have put it clearly, and I've captured you in one point whereby you have put it very safely for Kenyans to understand that we might have a discussion on our 2010 constitution. Where is it serving us well?
Yes.
And where is it not serving us?
Yes.
Well?
And audit.
And audit it.
Yes.
So that's a constitutional talk.
Yes.
It's not a constitutional referendum.
No.
So leaders should be told, because politicians are taking it the other way around.
Yes.
That's why Kenyans are asking.
I am not calling for a referendum, and I will tell you, how do you call for a referendum when there is no referendum question? What is the question? So some people don't. So those who are misleading people, and Robert, let me tell you, the president, my boss, 2027 doesn't worry him. We have sat in meetings where we are told us, why would we be talking about being re-elected in 2027 when we have a job to do? If we have not done that job, how will we ask for re-election? How are we going to ask for re-election? Yes. So his job, and even when he talks about the first one, he's not looking at 2027. 2027 will come and go. President Ruto is talking about the quality of life for Kenyan people. If he can be part of the big story, that he transformed Kenya into a first world country where people have electricity, people have water, people have no food deficit, people are connected to the information superhighway, people have a clean environment, people have good houses to live in. If Ruto can achieve that, it doesn't matter about 2027. And all of us who work with him,
It will be automatic.
yeah, we don't think about 2027. So people think that the president is desperate about 2027. He doesn't talk about it. He talks about transforming Kenya. So these guys who think about 2027 as an important thing because you want to take a position in the cabinet or probably you want to become a president, an MCA, without any
looking beyond.
Yes, the president doesn't think about that. So for us, we don't think about 2027. So keep the conversation of 2027. Keep it out of the president.
Okay.
Yes.
Herbert Mulupi, thank you very much for the question and also suggestion. Thanks, Professor, for elaborating clearly the president's idea, which many seem not to have understood. Embracing innovation and technology. Singapore invested heavily in technology and innovation, becoming a hub for startups and fintech. Pro-business policies, streamlined regulations, tax incentives, and ease of business. Education and skills. He's talking about focus on quality education and skills development. Infrastructure development, world-class infrastructure, transport, and logistics. I support the president. That is the hashtag by Herbert Mulupi. And then there's a very, very sensitive question here.
Yes.
Professor, in terms of security, I don't want to mention that who has written it.
Yes.
Professor, in terms of security, why is it that assassination of loyal leaders taking place and no single personal report given out, or the government is killing people like chicken and opted to give them state funeral? Joseph Kubende from Kimilili constituency and no report over his death up to now. Now as Cyrus Jirongo has gone, can we believe in the DCI or the torch?
You know what? Right.
Yes.
You wanted to derail me.
No.
But people are asking questions.
Yes, they have to be answered.
I've no response.
Yeah.
Because if you know that the government is killing lawyers,
so that it gives them a state funerals.
You know, that's a very serious allegation. What does it gain to kill people? I mean, I don't want to engage to politicize death. So if they have any evidence of wrongdoing elsewhere, they should report to the DCI. But I will not discuss.
I think that one.
I will not discuss.
Just leave it.
That
was our view.
It was a view, but I advise my brother. Just be a bit sober. Don't kill that anger and become a bit sober, and then you will know what to do.
Professor is going back to class, teaching his students.
Yes,
and he's your student, by the way.
Yes, but let me tell you something.
Yeah.
There's something that I need to point out. And when you had a few hitches about with your networks, maybe it didn't come out clearly.
Yes.
The bottom-up thinking. There are people who have, as we discussed the question of Kenya going to first world.
Yeah, like what Herbert has just pointed out.
There are people, and I've read it.
Operational skills.
Yes.
Infrastructure development. I think you can.
Yes, you know, I've read. I've even had some politicians, some leaders, even read some very acidic comments on media that in Kenya, that the president has abandoned the bottom-up agenda to embrace the first world agenda.
By the way, you can talk about that.
Yes.
Are they different?
You see what? The bottom-up thinking is where we have done the basics. Bottom-up was never going to be an end in itself. It was a means to an end. You know what? You want to be a first world country, but you have people who can't access finances. You want to be a first world country, you have a huge population. Today, we have just compared to, we probably have 50 to 60,000 doctors. Singapore has 2 million doctors. Yeah, I'm telling you.
2 million.
2 million doctors.
Some are working outside the country.
With a higher bed, many in the country, with a higher bed capacity. A population of 6 million people have 2 million doctors. And we're struggling. And even the bed capacity is higher than ours. So, this is a basic thing to fix. You need to have doctors. You have a very standing population. You need to have food. Before you talk about the bigger things, you have people who live in slums. You need to fix the house. To be a first world country, you need to fix the basic thing about power, which we are now struggling to move from 3,000 megawatts to 10,000 at minimum. You need to fix this. Either you are getting hydro or you are getting power from solar, so that there is constant supply of water for constant supply of electricity, so that we can industrialize. So these are the things we are fixing. So you can't become a first world country until you fix the healthcare system. You can't be a first world country until you fix the food crisis. You are importing food every day. So when President Ruto came up with the bottom up, he looked at the population and said, this population we had a model which was called top bottom. That
The old one.
where if you empower a few people at the top of the pyramid who are rich, that wealth will percolate downwards. But as we continued, when Singapore were improving, more and more people at the bottom
were suffering.
So
well, they trickle down.
Because
those at the top were refusing even to give what they have.
So the president said, I'm going to cause a revolutionary upheaval. And said, let's empower the people at the bottom. Because you need these populations, huge populations, to be part of the movement to the first world. You just don't need a few people at the top. You need everybody. You need farmers. You need students. You need doctors. Robert, you need many people. So, he created a bottom-up thinking to empower people at the bottom of the pyramid so that they can live a decent life. So he was dealing with the primary agenda of empowering people at the bottom. Now, once that is done, we have put several things in place, as you have seen, Robert. About 200 dams. We are building, and the smaller ones also for over 150. We have now started streamlining the healthcare system. People who say SHA is not working have never fallen sick. Kama uko na relative na alikuwa mgonjwa na akaenda hospitali na ulimregister, they just need the ID alone. Now, you can't deal with a sick population and say you can go to the first world. So because of that, the president now is saying, once you empower the bottom, this huge population you are empowering, munatembea munaenda wapi? Unaona sasa kama sasa the sun is rising, where are you walking to? With this huge population you have empowered. President Ruto is saying, as I empower you, we are walking. But we are walking towards paradise. And our paradise is to be a first world country where poverty will never be glorified. But many people have a problem with that. So when he talks about first world country, the same fellows who didn't want him to build the houses because they thought he was empowering people to get houses when they are landlords exploiting people, they are saying, what? If he matches with these people to the first world, na sisi tumezoea kutengeneza pesa by exploiting people. Tuta-exploit nani? We need poor people to exploit. That's what they are telling President Ruto. We need poor people. Don't empower poor people. We need poor people so that we can put them in slums and earn a lot of money. We need poor people who cannot afford vehicles so that they can die in the road accidents in bad vehicles. We need poor people. That's what they're telling the president. The president is telling them, I don't need poor people. So that is the way the contest is. You must know where the contest is. Ruto is saying, I don't need poor people in Kenya. I want to empower people to become better people. These guys are telling Ruto, leave these poor people, we want poor people. So therefore, the contest is clear. You have seen the contest. I'm framing the contest.
Yeah.
Ruto is fighting poverty. Other people are glorifying poverty.
Majenzi wamekufikia. Profesa.
Mwambie ni watoto wetu.
Hao ni watoto wetu. Lakini sasa kuna majenzi wako na group yao ambayo I'm fortunate enough to be the admin. And they're asking here, Professor, thank you very much for tabulating everything to do with how Kenya can move to the Singapore status. But now we are in Bungoma County here.
Yes.
And our fellow colleague, Morara Kebaso, is in the county as we speak.
Yes.
And he has just unraveled yesterday a project in Webuye, whereby the Webuye milk processing plant that was that money has been sunk in is not working. Today he has unraveled the Chwele chicken slaughterhouse, whereby 119 million has gone in but it's not working. How can we talk about Kenya moving to the level of Singapore when money, funds that are already been generated on the ground to help residents get a better life, get jobs, is not being used well? Factories or companies that have been started have already stalled. How will Kenya move?
Nobody can give an excuse for that. You get a point? And the president is not part of that mess. First of all, when those two projects started here in Bungoma, the President Ruto was not president. So it happened, people put money there. The Genesis should ask the leaders who did that to account. These are some of the things the president is correcting, and he's going to hit hard, because the president does not condone that. If public money has been sunk in something which is not working, it's the right of the people to ask. And let me assure those agencies, their questions will receive positive attention by the president.
Okay, you assure them that...
Yes, I can assure them that it's good, it has been pointed out, and you have talked about the Webuye, you have talked about the Chwele.
Yes.
Their questions, their concerns will receive the highest level of consideration from the president. I can assure you. Because the president doesn't condone that. He doesn't. And that's why he has supported the Gen Z, the youth. You have seen all the things that the president has done have not stalled. Talanda Stadium. I invite you, when you get to Nairobi, you go there.
Yeah.
I'll ask my colleagues to allow you in so that you can see just what's happening there. It looks like Allianz France or Allianz Arena in the home of Bayern Munich.
Okay, not Stanford.
No, it looks like Bayern Munich, because I know you're pulling some rock under my feet. But let me tell you, Robert.
Yeah.
How many projects has President Ruto under his leadership as president have stalled? Everything is moving. Kenya is a construction site.
The Misihu Tongaren road?
That road is on course. Because you know there is a section which is supposed to be by the county government. There is a section by the national government. You know the details around that, that road. And by 2027, there will be no road which the president promised people he will build, which will not have been built. And he's doing it. You can walk anywhere. There are many roads. If you went through the State of the Nation address, he even mentioned some of those roads. There is no project that President Ruto promises and it doesn't work. He can only be stopped by Mahakama or some people going to court, but he will always get back and work on that. So you see, I've just, for the Gen Zs, their concern is genuine, and it needs to be addressed, and it will be addressed. The president has had, he has had, he has had, because he will address that, and I can assure those young people, and even the people of Western region, that project, that whatever happens there will unravel, and the president is going to address it. And then, but they should also know the president supports them. They are our kids, and he supports them. That's why he is investing heavily in small businesses which can go to the youth, but he's also building this infrastructure, stadiums and so on. And I think they will join him when he hosts the Africa Cup of Nations in July 2027. So Kenya is on the right track. But you see what? One of the things the president has made very clear, it's very difficult these days to eat government money, eat quote unquote. So people go there and negotiate. But the president's a hands-on person. He will know if you are stealing government money. So some of the people who turn around and say money has been stolen, you just challenge them and say how much has been stolen. They want to give you a figure. But when the idea of money being stolen is that they have not accessed that money, and they suspect that because money has not the money they used to steal, they have not been able to steal it. They think somebody else has stolen, but that money is there. So the president has been very clear on that. In terms of physical discipline, he has made sure that every project that is undertaken in this country, he puts his hand on it, makes sure that it's working the right way. Some of the things you hear, people accusing others of stealing money, is not true. They are when you hear some of them telling you that this project watu wamepoteza pesa ni kwa sababu wanakuambia kwamba sisi hatujapatiwa nafasi ya kuiba hiyo pesa. So they start using the language of money has been stolen, so that you say, oh, it has been stolen, but it hasn't been stolen because they have not been able to steal. So these are the things. So I think, Robert, it is important to pay special respect to the president for doing this, but to also emphasize repeatedly that bottom up is a means to an end. The means to an end, the end is the first world. So those who say he has abandoned, the journey begins with the bottom up, and then it will end with first world. You get the point?
Yeah.
This is the point that many people are missing. I say the president has abandoned that. He will never abandon that. He's a hustler.
Yes, many people are talking about corruption being an embedment, like Chris Wanjala. Wanjala Chris is saying, Professor, being a senior advisor to the Commander-in-Chief, how can you fight the corruption so that we can stop the dreaming of Singapore? I think you have answered that severally.
Yes, I've tried my best.
The issue to do with the corruption. Tom Ngoya anasema tunashukuru kipindi, but please advise the president to fulfill the promises fully before emerging with the new ones. Engineer Tom Ngoya, Lamba from Mexico.
Yeah, but I think I have tried. That engineer, I think I've persuaded him. Yes. Yeah, because he started off with the very heavy. But I think I've persuaded him. I think for people, because I speak about the president is not Robert. The president is not an ethnic leader. He's the leader of Kenya. So let us renew our hopes in this president. He's the leader of Western.
Yeah.
I have talked about this thing. The leader of Western is President Ruto. And you see
Western wako na kingpins, Professor. Wewe unaacha kuingia hapo. Western wako na kingpins wao ambao wanafuata.
There is no kingpin. How many times can I tell you this? The leader of this group in Western is Ruto. And he remains the leader. They voted for him. You know what? The president was not voted for through other people. He came to ask for votes directly. Unless you don't understand the constitution. He didn't come to ask for votes through kingpins or whatever you are talking about. The president is the leader of Rift Valley, the leader of Western, the leader of the coast, the leader of Northern Kenya, the leader of Kenya. And there is no substitute. Robert, there is no substitute. So, even those who have questions, you have seen, if there are kingpins, why are these guys asking me to talk to the president about the Chwele and the Webuye issues? About the dairy fiasco and the chicken in the two factories. Why are they asking? They should ask the kingpins. When
Maybe they've been asking, but they're not
the problem,
listening.
This thing, and I don't blame even anybody. There are people who sit down and imagine they can be equals to Ruto. Zero. If you cannot raise 80 million in Kenya, how do you become a kingpin? The kingpin of Kenya is Ruto. So, if it witaongelewa hapa, I urge even the people of Western Kenya, throw your weight behind the president. Directly. Mm. When he comes, that is your leader. Sisi ni watu wa mkono. And we don't want to take any credit for anything. Because we are not vying for president. We didn't ask for any votes. We have not asked anybody to vote for us. President Ruto asked for votes. They gave him over 8 million votes. These votes are not for nothing. So don't start rivalry. If you are an MP, you are a senator, you are an MCA, you can't be a kingpin. And if you can't raise more than even 10,000 votes, then you become a kingpin and start rivaling a person with 8 million votes. Something is wrong. Mambo si mazuri sana. Lakini unatakikana kuombewa. Maombi. So what we do is, for us in Western, I think we are going to the new year. The president, I think, will be harder on those people who are sabotaging his agenda. He's going to be a bit tougher.
Or those who are sluggish in marketing the agenda.
Yes. I think you have no business being in the president's camp if you don't understand his agenda or if you don't promote his agenda. You have no business. I expect the leaders who work with the president, whether they are in Western, they are in the Rift Valley, they are at the coast, to be at the forefront to talk about the president's agenda, to explain to Wananchi some of the questions that are coming even on this forum.
Yes.
Since watu wa mkono, we should answer those questions on behalf of the president.
Sure.
So that they don't keep on bothering the president when we are there serving under him and we can't explain his agenda. So I think any leader who does not understand the president's agenda, we go by what he says. He's now has formed a broad-based government. We must support him. And you have seen it has calmed the country. We are peaceful. We're working well with him and our colleagues who joined government. This is the way to go. Once the president gives direction, you don't question. He has 8 million votes. You have nothing. So, going forward, every leader who is serving in our government, president's government, I urge them in January, beginning January going forward, to take time to read the president's agenda, if they have forgotten, and to also understand how that agenda of 2022 bottom up will transition into a first world country, and tell our people that this is just a transition, a means to an end. Bottom up means to the end, which is first world Kenya. That is really what we are doing. So as leaders, I will not tire, and I expect you to call me some time again to explain to our people. If everywhere, I walk everywhere in this country, but you know what? My first priority is President Ruto. So my job is to explain to people who don't understand his agenda to understand. That's why he appointed me. And so, if we are serving this government, we must see that as a priority. Our priority is to talk about the president's agenda. So Western people who are listening, the whole country, the people who are listening, if you have a leader who does not understand the president's agenda, don't listen to them. People who don't talk about the president's agenda, don't meet them. Because they will even mislead you, tell you lies. Listen to people who know the president's agenda. And you can get the bottom-up thinking across. It's online. And I encourage you, if you have any audience within Western Kenya here, who don't understand the bottom up, you call me. I will explain. They don't even need the president to come. I will make things very easy for you, and I will explain that. But so those who have doubts about where we're going, first one, they understand. President is right on course. First, bottom up. Second, first one.
Okay. Thank you. On our Facebook page, Honorable Kabindio Matthews Willis anasema kwamba connect me with that guy. I wanna help him mahali. Please read my comment. Honorable Kabindio Matthews, nimesoma comment yako na unasema kwamba connect me. He's here. I think you are already connected through this interview, but I think I will give you Matthew Kabindio's number.
Yeah,
I have it.
I'll be glad to.
He comes from Mount Elgon.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a very good mobilizer there.
Yes, you should tell him to unite our people, because that is in unity we can become a first world country. That's what the president is working on. Any leader who divides people is not fit for Ruto's vehicle. If you want to board it, unite people, but also understand his agenda. Yes.
Swali la mwisho ama swala la mwisho kupata kuongelea ni hapa nyumbani eneo la magharibi. Tukimaliza, unaona kwamba serikali zetu za gatuzi katika eneo la magharibi, labda utendakazi wao kwa kiasi unaongezea Rais William Ruto max ama unampunguzia hizi kaunti zetu za eneo la magharibi, Nyanza na North Rift ambazo ni zaidi ya kaunti 24. Unaona kwamba matatizo ya wananchi wakilia kuhusu utendakazi yanaathiri vipi ile safari ya rais ambaye anafikiria kuhusu kuweka Kenya katika kiwango cha maendeleo cha Singapore?
I think ukiangalia utendakazi wa magatuzi wa Rift Valley, Nyanza na Western, ni kwanza kabisa kitu ambacho unahitaji kutambua Bwana Wanyonyi, ni kwamba haya magatuzi yanasimamiwa na watu kutoka mirengo mbalimbali. So challenge ambayo inapatikana ni kwamba wakati mwingine tukiwa na vyama kadhaa tutaweza kuwa na tofauti ya maono, but kwa vile president sasa anafanya na unite watu, tunaunganisha watu kutoka mirengo mbalimbali ya kisiasa, nadhani utendakazi umeboreka. Pili, kwa sababu tuna njia nyingi ambazo sisi tunaweza kuelezana kama serikali jinsi tunaweza kuboresha kazi yetu. Sidhani kama katika kipindi kama hichi ninaweza kuwakosoa watu, viongozi. Unajua tunaheshimu viongozi wote. Nadhani wamejaribu, lakini wanaweza kufanya bora zaidi. There is always room for what? For improvement. So there are certain challenges, but they should take up the challenges and turn them into opportunities. So I think I can't point a finger at anybody that I'll be satisfied with, but I'll say they have tried, and especially during the broad-based dispensation. But I think we can improve in the next 1 year and a half. I think we can do better. There is a lot of room for improvement, and this it's about accountability of the use of how we use our finances, how to internalize the share and support the national government to improve healthcare. There are certain infrastructure items that are supposed to be done by the counties, and some roads, veterinary facilities for farmers. They can support the president's agricultural agenda through that. So, because if you look at Rift Valley and Western, these are very rich agricultural zones, and many of our people depend on farming. So I think they can pick up that agenda and help the president to do it even better, support the distribution of fertilizer, and as we go to the planting season. But generally, take some little time, as I said, to read the president's agenda again, just in case some of them were hostile to it because of the differences in political parties. It is a very good agenda. It can change our country. Support where they can to make sure that our people, like President Ruto is not doing it for his own. He's doing it for the people, and we are serving the same people. So if people get water with the support of central, national, and the county government, we all must rejoice. So I think we are on the right track, but I think there is a lot of room for improvement.
Labda neno la mwisho Profesa, kwa dakika mbili ungependa kuambia nini kwanza bosi wako ambaye amekuwa anafuatilia kabisa, na nimekuonyesha maswali ambayo alikuwa ameandika hapa, labda una neno gani la kukamilishia na vile vile kwa wananchi wetu eneo la Magharibi, matarajio gani wakuwe nayo katika serikali ya Rais William Ruto, na vile vile unavyoingia mwaka mpya, labda upate kutuma pia salamu zako za heri njema kwa Kenya wakati huu wa mwaka mpya unapokaribia.
But first of all, I'm humbled that my boss has been watching this.
Yes.
President Ruto, he has been a special person to me.
Yeah.
In many respects. I have no words to thank him.
Yes.
He knows it.
Yeah.
He has given me opportunity to serve.
Yeah.
And I will serve him with dedication. I give him the right advice, which I think in my role is the best I can. But he's the decision maker. He has been a wonderful leader for all of us. And I wish him success. We shall keep supporting him where we are and in the best way possible. All we need is to pledge to state our renewed dedication as the year begins to support his agenda and to wish him God's love and the blessings and as he steers this difficult ship we call Kenya towards a first world democracy. I think he has changed Kenya in a big way. Kenya can never be the same. And I ask all Kenyans to continue supporting him, offering a prayer for him so that he succeeds to unite our country and to transform our country. For the workers who have been privileged to work with him, all of us, we should double our efforts to make sure that the president's agenda succeeds. I don't know how many times I've mentioned the word agenda, but you know it's very close to my heart.
Sure.
For the people of Western, keep supporting the president. In fact, some of the things that have happened in this region will never have happened, for the last 60 years. So you have a lot of reasons in your docket to support the president. There are many reasons for you to support the president. So I ask the people who former mkoa wa Magharibi kuongeza matumaini yao kwa rais, kuunga mkono rais, kumwombea. Let people not divide you. Let people not bring rumors to you. The president loves this region. That's why, even thinking aloud, we have a state lodge in Kakamega. We have another one in Bungoma. In his own way, he has told you, I love you. And so we should reciprocate by supporting him. And for the entire republic, this is the best president we have so far had. Some of us didn't think that Kenya can look like this. So I again request the people of Kenya to renew their hopes in the president, to support his programs of uniting the country, promoting the bottom-up agenda, and transforming Kenya into a first world country. So as we go to the new year, I send my new year greetings to the President of the Republic of Kenya, our Commander-in-Chief, my boss, the entire Kenyan community, the people of Western Kenya. Happy New Year.
And blessings.
Blessings, blessings, blessings.
Asante sana Profesa kwa kuweza kututakia sisi wote mwaka mpya wenye furaha na mafanikio tunapokamilisha manake kwa mara ya 3 tukifuatilia umeweza kuwa unapeana mahojiano ya mwisho ya mwaka, kufunga mwaka na kufungua mwaka, na vile vile kutakia Wakenya heri njema. Tunasema asante sana kwa kuweza kutukaribisha hapa, na asante sana kwa kuweza kuitikia maswala yote ambayo wengi ambao wamefuatilia katika mitandao ya kijamii wameshukuru sana. Wamesema kwamba profesa amewafunza neno moja ama mawili kutokana na ile idea ya Rais William Ruto ya kuweka Kenya kimaendeleo kwa kiwango cha taifa la Singapore. Na ametuelezea kutoka hapo mwanzo vile Kenya ilivyokuwa na Singapore walivyokuwa pamoja hapo wanateseka kwa pamoja, lakini kuna mambo 3, 4, 5 hivi ambayo Singapore iliweza kufanya ikatekeleza, yakafuatwa na ndiposa ikaleta maendeleo. Na ndio hiyo ambayo safari ameeleza kwamba rais wetu William Ruto ambaye ni bosi wake vile vile anafuatilia na kuweza kuweka Kenya katika usanjari huo. Bila shaka mahojiano haya utazidi kuyatazama katika mitandao yetu ya kijamii, Tandao TV Kenya, na vile vile YouTube Tandao TV Kenya, Facebook Tandao TV Kenya. Halafu katika ukurasa wake Profesa Edward Kisiang'Ani wa Facebook, ukiingia pale utaona mahojiano haya, na bila shaka ukiwa na swali lolote la kuuliza andika pale, tutahakikisha kwamba profesa mwenyewe na rais wa taifa William Samoei Ruto ataweza kupata maswali yenu, mapendekezo yenu, na vile vile apate kuyafanyia kazi. Kwa majenzi ambao muuliza maswali, bila shaka profesa ameyajibu na amewahakikishia kwamba Rais William Ruto ataweza kufuatilia swala hilo na kulifanyia kazi, na bila shaka mtaona majibu ambayo yataisha. Nasema asante sana profesa. Na tutarudi tena kuzidi kuangalia mandhari mazuri ambayo yako katika boma hili. Ukulima uko pale nje, ng'ombe wanapendeza kweli kweli, ng'ombe wa gredi, maziwa yanafika hapa kwa wingi sana. Na iwapo ungependa maziwa, basi maziwa mazuri yako hapa kwa boma lake Profesa Edward Kisiang'Ani. Na vile vile hata kuna ukulima wa kuku, bata mzinga, tumeona yote hapo nje. Kazi nzuri sana ya ukulima ambayo mfuata ya bottom up. Kwa niaba ya crew yangu nzima, piga picha pale Felix Wanjala, piga picha pale Florence Simiyu, upande wa sound pale kuhakikisha kwamba mambo yako sawa na internet, vile vile Faith Nyongesa, upande wa programming kutuweka hewani hapo nje kuna mwanadada anajulikana kama Maslin Sikuku. Kutoka kwangu watazamaji nasema asante sana, na kwa mashabiki wa Soaps Tandao TV Kenya, we are doing something about it. Bila shaka tunatafuta kuhakikisha kwamba tunawapatia vitu ambavyo zitakuwa mzuri zaidi, na mwaka mpya upate kuwa mwaka mzuri wenye furaha na mafanikio. Happy New Year. Kwa niaba ya wote ambao nimetaja, jina langu ni Robert Wanyonyi. Hadi wakati mwingine mtazamaji, kwaherini kwa sasa, na uzidi kutazama runinga ya Mwananchi ya Tandao TV Kenya. Hapa ndipo. Okay. Tumemaliza on point kabisa. Wote ambao nimetaja, jina langu ni Robert Wanyonyi. Wakati mwingine kwaherini kwa sasa, na uzidi kutazama runinga ya Mwananchi ya Tandao TV Kenya. Hapa tunapitisha hazina maalum ya National Infrastructure Fund ambayo huokota pesa shilingi bilioni 5 ya kuboresha. Asante sana.